And welcome back to Seven's Big Lead.
Then a long one too, over the top. It came from Fairley. We see the centre bounce, tapped down by Dempsey. Geelong trying to force the ball forward, and Lenahan puts the ball high in the air, down to the forward line. Peake coming out, and Peake, who has lined up at full forward, selected as a ruck rover, has lined up at full forward. So Brian Peake, one might say a disappointing Brian Peake since coming from Western Australia. The kick from Peake, it looks nice off the boot, and there's the equaliser as Peake puts it through to make it 1 goal apiece. So 1 goal apiece. Phil Cracker for North Melbourne, Brian Peake for Geelong.
And Bobby at Cardinia Park, pretty fine weather and very little breeze, no end favoured.
I wouldn't think so, Sandy, although Nankervis did win the toss and chose to go to the R.J. Hickey stand-in. I do not believe it was because of the wind.
Back to the centre once again. Blake wins it down towards the half-forward line. Waddell was in trouble. Nankervis gets a hurried kick out. It only goes 15 or so metres. Pushed out towards Schimmelbusch now. He's going to be met by Nankervis, but Schimmer pushes it forward. He's got Cracker running for him. Back it goes again to Schimmelbusch. The hurried left foot snap in towards that half-forward region. Plenty of pressure on at the moment as McCann was the tackler. Nankervis at the bottom. Picks the ball up, gives it to Big Blake, but he's caught by McDonald, holding the ball. And Donald McDonald looking up towards that half-forward and full-forward region, going with a long drop punt. Cracker waits at the back. McCann is there. Cracker over the boundary line. And another throw-in into Ian Fairley. I think I called him John Holt in the opening 45 seconds of play. My apologies. Throw in the left forward pocket. North Melbourne in attack. McCann getting front position over Blake. Waddell, but the free kick's been picked up, and it's going to go the way of Geelong and should be taken by Ray Card. Card will be called back over the mark. Quite a good crowd here at Cardinia Park. A fine afternoon after a foggy morning. Dempsey sets himself from behind. Waddell came in from the side, and Gregg waits behind. To half forward again. Blake is there. Fairley came over the top. Cracker could have infringed. He has, says the umpire. And again, the Cats out of trouble through Card.
So Ray Card gets it across to Alan Reid. Reid's kick in towards the centre, but straight to Gary Dempsey, who spills the centre but recovers beautifully. His kick's off the side of the boot, straight into the arms of Malcolm Reid. So Reid from centre half back, actually playing on the wing, goes straight down the ground. Ramsey at the back. It's taken away by Glenn Denning. Glenn Denning puts a long kick out wide where Schimmelbusch leads Bruce Nankervis in the race for the ball. Traps it beautifully, but it just goes over the boundary line, and we'll find a throw-in to take place on centre wing, outer side of the ground.
Bobby, I believe North have been forced into a change.
Yes, Law out of the side, Bryant in, and to make up for Law being out from that half-back, I do believe that Abernathy has gone from the centre to the wing with Atkins to pick up Featherby. Long kick from Keith Gregg, tapped on by Jim Cracker. Phil Cracker diving after it. It's knocked away by Card. Jeffries is there, almost taken away from him by Jim Cracker, but the free kick has gone the way of Geelong's centre half-back, and that's Paul Jeffries. Jeffries, who was selected at full forward, playing at centre half-back. Gives the hand pass out wide. It's taken by Ian Nankervis. Nankervis puts the ball in towards the centre. Atkins up high to punch it away. Taken by Lenahan. The pack forming. Lenahan dives in again, but the umpire comes into the elect to bounce the ball. Umpire Shane Carbines. The bounce about 70 metres from the North Melbourne goal as Dempsey got the tap down. Schimmelbusch is there. Held when not in possession, and he'll take the free kick.
From the centre of the ground goes the North skipper. Out comes Fairley. Jostling for front spot. No one able to take it. Over the head of Fury it goes. And again, the Geelong defence able to come away through Lenahan back towards the centre, but it's Atkins who receives the handball out towards the half-forward line once again. And North Melbourne doing the bulk of the attacking is Abernethy, who got in strife. They may get out of it, however, through Demetriou, who flicks it over his shoulder in towards the pocket. Hodgman gave away the free kick. And so it will be Nankervis to relieve the pressure. Jim Hodgman just giving a slight nudge in the back. Across to Blake. Rodney's tumble punt in towards the centre once again. Glendinning the spoiler from behind. Ramsey was there also. Kelly couldn't take it at the first attempt. A chance, however, for Ramsey to butter up and get out of trouble. Over the centre he goes once again. Schimmelbusch in front, unable to complete the mark. Trying to burst his way through then was Anthony Fury. Forward go the Northerners once again up towards Abernathy, but Blake intercepts. Well done by the big fella. It's a bad kick. It goes straight to Fury. Untidy football as Fury kicks it back towards McCann. In front and takes a good mark.
Poor football by both Jeffries and Yates on that occasion. Both players were behind and they both tried to mark.
Yes.
Sandy?
So McCann has the opportunity to capitalise on that error. Directly in front, 35 metres out. The drop punt on its way. Goal umpire having a good look. Second goal on the board to the Northerners. Rod Blake not winning an effective tap out on that occasion. It's pushed down towards the Glendinning area, who had a complete area. Couldn't pick it up at all. Peake now. Chance to get the handball back. Does so. In trouble is Reynoldsson. Caught under pressure as he got the kick away in towards the pocket. It goes out of bounds on the floor.
Reynoldsson put himself in trouble there, Sandy, by going back in towards the pack. If he'd gone onto his left foot, he would have been completely clear. Gary Kell, North Melbourne back pocket player, favouring the drop punt. Blake from behind, punches it away from Dempsey. It's well taken by Lenahan, who puts in a shot. Did not hook the ball at all, straight over the boundary line, and once again we'll see a North Melbourne free kick as a result. Keith Gregg, still in the back pocket. Gregg, well, puts himself under pressure by trying to run around Waddell. The kick goes forward. A great attempt to mark down there. Lenahan gets the ball across towards Bruce Nankervis, and Nankervis finds Brian Peake. Peake on 2 occasions now with too much pace for David Dench, getting away from Dench on both times, so we'll have the chance of lining up for his second goal. So it's Brian Peake, only 20 metres out. Quite an acute angle, as you can see for yourself. There's Peake. Comes in towards goal. It's a nice looking kick, and he brings up his second goal. 2 goals to Brian Peake. That's the score that Geelong have, to equal the scores, both sides having 2 straight goals.
And that move paying dividends very early on, Bobby, with Peake to full forward.
Yes, that's the Brian Peake that Geelong actually did recruit, a player capable of going to centre half forward, full forward, centre, anywhere you like. Peake had, to that extent, been a good player.
Centre bounce once again. Dempsey, it will favour, and it is he who wins it. Atkins can't take it out of the centre. Chuck Card trying to burst his way through, lost it at the last attempt, but it was pushed down towards that half-forward line once again. Here's a chance for Geelong through Lenahan. Out wide to Nankervis, put him under pressure, pushed towards the boundary line and taken over for a throw in front of the scoreboard, which sees both sides locked away on 2 goals apiece. Throw in once again. Dempsey very late on the scene, gives Reynoldsson the opportunity to pick it up, get the quick handball across to his teammate there in Cole, up towards full forward, but North Melbourne again able to take it away through Kelly. He has the luxury of a bounce. Mossop late on the scene. Towards centre wing, McDonald went up a little too early to try and spoil. Once again, it gives Geelong the chance. Lenahan tries to get the handball away, putting plenty of pressure on Andrew Buse, but he does get it away to his teammate there in Yates. Yates goes long in towards full forward, and the mark has been taken by Mossop. No, it hasn't. Play on by Peake, and his kick is third. 3 goals to Peake in just over 10 minutes. And 3 goals to the Cats. 3 straight goals, leading North Melbourne 2 on 7s. Big lead. All Geelong waiting down, as it was picked up again by Dennis Lenahan down towards the half-forward line. Reid was there, so too this man, Glendinning. And it's Ross's handball out wide toward Brownlow medal-winning Keith Gregg. Gregg sees McDonald on that half-back flank and finds him.
Back to Keith Gregg. Poor handball. He should have had a look and seen if Keith Gregg was covered or not. Lenahan doing a fine job in this first term. Puts a poor kick forward, though. Misunderstanding between Carlton and Dempsey, but Carlton recovers onto Glendinning. Tapped beautifully to Ramsey. His kick goes out wide, and Phil Cracker coming out takes a nice mark. Phil Cracker on half-forward flank. The short pass finds Hodgman. Thought about going on. Now screws the ball over with a short kick and finds Abernathy. Abernathy in the forward pocket, about 40 metres out from goal. So with no wind, Bruce Abernathy should have the chance of scoring. So Abernathy, a fairly acute angle. A nice looking kick. And I think it's just through for full points, so North Melbourne a 5-point lead as they go to 4 goals straight with Geelong on 3-1.
Some 23.5 minutes played. In fact, perhaps a little more in this first term, and a 5-point margin. If this first term is any indication, we could be in for a pretty tight game here at Cardinia Park. Conditions absolutely ideal. Foggy driving down, but very little breeze, and now very good conditions. Dempsey and Mossop again in the middle. Dempsey got first touch, and it's Cracker who beautifully throws away a tackle. Demetriou now up to the half-forward line. McCann. Hodgman at the back. In trouble, out of trouble, in trouble, out of trouble. Shot for goal, and a great goal, Kim Hodgman. 2 crackies to North Melbourne, and they've shot away to an early break.
Hodgman showing a lot of skill there. He thought about the hand pass, he went onto the left foot and then swung back and completely bamboozled the Geelong defence until he was able to straighten up and put through a lovely goal. 19 points to 30, so it's an 11-point margin in favour of North Melbourne with very straight kicking of 5 straight goals. It'll be John Mossop of Geelong and Gary Dempsey of North Melbourne. Mossop taking at least twice the run of Dempsey and couldn't quite get to where the ball was. Featherby loses possession. Jim Cracker wins it and drives it long up towards the full forward position, but Malarkey coming out in the front position showing fine judgment. So Gary Malarkey swings it wide. Has Bruce Nankervis, and supporting him was Lenihan. A hand pass coming towards Card. Ray Card puts a short kick forward. In the back will be paid to Mark Yates. So Yates of Geelong. Yates in between centre wing. Oh, swings it far too wide, but it might, no, I think it's just over the boundary line before it was taken by Brian Peake. No, the mark has been paid. So I disagree with the boundary on that occasion.
You and probably 15,000 others, Robert.
So it's Brian Peake who has kicked 3 straight goals so far. And I think too far out to score. It's a lovely looking kick nonetheless. And it's punched through for 1 point. So 1 point to Geelong. And we find Geelong on 3 goals to 20. A 10-point margin behind North Melbourne on 5 straight goals.
And we're into time on, Bobby, in this first term as Dench goes to the outer side once again. Reynoldsson had his name written all over that. Gave Nankervis the shock of his life when he gave him the handball in towards full forward. Blake unable to take the mark. And again, the Northerners out of trouble. A long kick from Dench up towards Fury, trying to do it over the back. Not good enough. So the Cats, who trail at the moment by 10 points, wanting a goal this time on period. Dempsey didn't try and mark. Waddell waiting at the back. Little Rodney. Demetriou is there for North Melbourne. Back towards that half-back line once again. Coming over the top is Carlton. Takes a good mark onto Cracker. Is good football. North Melbourne looking dangerous to McCann on that half-forward line. Now, Stephen will be looking to go long. He does so. Twisted over the back towards Phillip. Bounces his way. This is when he's dangerous. Dummies the handball. Gives it across the middle. Shoots and goals. Great play by North Melbourne, and started in the back pocket.
Yes, Demetriou, who's been a fine player across that half-back line, got the ball away, and as you called it, Sandy, Phillip Cracker, the way he drew the players towards him, and I'm sure that if they hadn't come towards him, he would have run straight into the open goal, and then a lovely hand pass across to Fairley. Dempsey and Mossop on this occasion. Geelong, having had both Blake and Mossop going against Dempsey. Mossop wins it. It's taken that there and driven forward by Cole, but a woeful kick straight into the arms of Glendinning. A poor hand pass. Ramsey able to get out of trouble. Ramsey puts the short kick forward, and over the top comes Bernard Toohey. So it's Toohey. He's done well on the half-back flank. 15-metre penalty will come against Anthony Fury. And then it's a decent 15 metres as well. So from about 90 metres out, he's now 60. Toohey out wide, and once again Peake, lovely lead, a well-placed kick, and Peake, who has already kicked 3 goals, has the chance, and he kicked those 3 goals against David Dench. Now he's against Keith Gregg. So Can Brian Peake make the margin between the sides? 10 points. Yes, he can.
Great from Brian Peake. Brilliant mathematics there from Bobby Skilton. He pondered on it, thought about it, and got it right. 10 points the margin, and we played some 2.5 minutes of time on in this first term. Peake, 4 goals to his credit, the sole scorer for the Cats. For North Melbourne, Phil Cracker has 2, and 1 apiece to Abernethy, McCann, Hodgman, and also Ian Fairley.
Phil Cracker has 1, Sandy. He passed to Ian Fairley, who has 2. So now we find Dempsey getting the ball down to Hodgman. Hodgman driving the ball straight up the ground. Card coming over the back, punches it down, tapped over by Jim Cracker, and now Phil Cracker's got
2. Between North Melbourne and Geelong, and North Melbourne straight kicking had opened up for them a very useful lead. At quarter time, the Kangaroos had an advantage of some 16 points. They increased that to 21 points at the 3-minute mark of the second quarter, and that's where we rejoin the game. Now at Cardinia Park with Sandy Roberts and Bob Skilton.
Yates either going to half forward or the wing, I'm not quite certain at this stage.
Kick back into play once again. Up high and taking a good mark was Glendinning. Quick to play on, pushing the ball to the outer side of the ground, and Card, as Bobby Skilton spoke, taking a very good mark. Controlling it with the one hand initially. Oh, goes with a rainmaker. Very high ball. Glendinning underneath it once again. Unable to complete it, however. Carlton in trouble. Out of trouble. Pushing it in front of Graham Atkins, who has time to scoot away. McCann is his target, and McCann he finds. He can go over the top. He does so to Anthony Fury. Back again to the running Crazy Horse. He's got no one to handball it to, so he's got to go long in towards full forward. Fairley couldn't complete the mark. Cracker taps it down, but who's waiting in the pocket? No one. Nankervis is there for Geelong. Beautifully tackled. The cry was for holding the ball, but it's not going to come out as Whitcomb receives the handball. Keeps it in play with a banana ball up towards centre wing. Over the head of Featherby it goes. It's a bad bounce for all concerned except this man, Glendinning. Does it beautifully. Well controlled as he shrugs the tackle. Puts in the pass towards Cracker at full forward. He can't complete the mark, but recovers beautifully. Shoots towards goal and bounces it through. And that's Jimmy's first. Great play again by North Melbourne. And again, Bobby, the Crackers absolutely in everything.
Yes, and what the Crackers haven't got, Ross Glendinning absolutely dominant across that half-back line. Yates has gone to the half-forward line, and the way that Glendinning is playing at the moment, I feel a little bit sorry for Mark Yates because he's giving away a little bit of height to Glendinning, and Glendinning having every physical attribute as well. Centre bounce. Favours Featherby and Blake. Blake gets a hand pass across to Waddell. A high floating kick. Peake coming out. Taps the ball away, goes after it again. A quick hand pass back to Waddell. Chance of a score coming up as Waddell puts the ball down. He's hooked it though. It comes out wide, and David Dench shows great manoeuvrability, I'll call it there, as he drives it out wide towards the forward pocket, and Demetrio takes the mark. 15 metres will go against Alan Reid. And gee, they look different in the change of Guernseys.
My word they do, Bobby. Yes.
Demetrio, a nice kick towards centre wing. Dempsey in the middle, didn't take the mark, almost brought the ball down. Peake right up the ground. A hand pass comes out there from Kelly to Atkins. Atkins puts the ball towards half forward. Nankervis, Bruce Nankervis, it was missed the mark. Quick hand pass came there, and we find Donald McDonald after that hand pass from the centre half forward in McCann. McDonald gets it across to Schimmelbusch. Schimmelbusch drives it down towards the square. Phil Cracker from behind! Takes the mark. So it's Phil Cracker, who has already kicked 3 goals. And I'm sure he will not miss this. He's right in the goal square, 5 metres out. And so the dynamic Phil Cracker, with only 6 minutes gone in the second quarter, about to bring up his 4th goal. So it's Phil Cracker. Kicking goal number 4. And North Melbourne go to 10 straight goals. 10 goals, no behinds, 60 points.
And how long, Bobby, since you've been at a game where that has been the scoreboard? 10 straight.
Very, very rarely, Sandy.
My word. Geelong.
And I think, as you mentioned, they might have to walk back to Melbourne. Whoever does kick that first point, I'm sure will get the raspberry from the North crowd.
My word, they will. Back in the middle now. What can Geelong do? Blake and Dempsey. No decisive tap away. Hodgman is the aggressor on that occasion and gets it away to Atkins, who fumbles badly but recovers well, pushing it down towards the half-forward line. Now Fury is there. He has possession. He trapped it beautifully. Shoots it. Goal! And he's got to walk back to Melbourne. Listen to those boos. Anthony Fury.
For a moment there, I thought it was going to be a great goal.
So did I, Bobby, but it's 10-1 and Geelong are 4-3 as we come back into play once again. It'll be Reid receiving the handball, getting away from Cracker, coming up towards the centre wing. Out comes Glendinning, couldn't manoeuvre himself properly. Cowton taps it across to Demetriou, who dummies beautifully. Back to Glendinning. He's in everything at the moment. Tucks one in towards the pocket. Cracker will come from behind again. Can't quite control it long enough, but his brother is there. He's ripped off the football while not in possession and will be free kicked.
Where have Geelong gone, Sandy?
Not sighted at the moment, and Jimmy Cracker, who kicked a goal only minutes ago, has the opportunity of making it number 11. And he's going to join Anthony Fury as they walk back to Melbourne. Shocking. 10-2, not even 10-2. No, he might have to walk by somewhere else. 10-1 still, out on the full. The Cats 4-3, and they have stopped, Bobby.
Yes, you're right, Sandy. Nothing at all across that half-forward line. It's very hard to get the ball any further as Cowton brings the ball down. It's taken by Abernathy. He's supported by Fury across to Dempsey. A long hand pass to Atkins. On now to Hodgman. A short kick from Hodgman down towards the forward pocket. Ian Nankervis is first on the scene. Quick hand pass to Malarkey. Short kick from Malarkey towards Featherby, and he takes them up. Peter Featherby on half-back flank. Very quiet so far. And Featherby in towards the centre. Alan Reid's there for Geelong. Takes them up. Reid was looking to handball. I don't think he meant it, but he's found his player anyway. Michael Cole was calling for the ball out from behind the runner. Looking for the hand pass. Taking too long to kick it anyway. Now he floats the ball forward. Peake was up high. Ramsey comes out with it. Gets a hand pass towards Greg. He brilliantly gets out of trouble. Screws the ball back. But it goes straight to Cole once again. Michael Cole. This time about 20 metres closer to goal than his previous kick. Towards centre half forward. No mark taken. Mossop at the back. Ball play on by the umpire. Gets a quick hand pass across to Bruce Nankervis. Long kick from Nankervis towards the goal square. Ramsey's there. Punches it through for 1 point. So 1 point to Geelong. Takes their score to 4-4. So 4-4-28. Playing 10-1-61.
And as Bobby said, the Cats really having to struggle up forward. Across half forward in that forward zone. As Cracker finds Hodgman, who did play on. He gets caught, but gets away with Atkins. Not a good kick by Graham Atkins. The bounce was almost trapped by Cracker on the half volley. That being Jimmy, but loses. So Nankervis with 15 metres, almost up to the centre, and he pushes it out wide looking towards his brother, who gets not a favourable bounce. Demetriou is there for North Melbourne. Swings it back towards the centre once again. Schimmelbusch across to Cracker is good football, and away goes Phillip again. Gets the handball across to McDonald, who's in trouble but gets out of trouble. Here's Jimmy now. Steadies with the right foot. A long punt in towards goal. He's kicked a beauty. Jimmy kicks his second goal, and North Melbourne can do nothing wrong here at Kardinia Park at the moment. 11-1 to Geelong's 4-4 on Sevens. Big lead.
Yes, well, you'd certainly think that there was a howling gale down the ground the way North Melbourne are playing in this quarter. They've absolutely dominated the term, with Geelong only adding 2 points, while North Melbourne have put on 4 goals, 1 in 10 minutes of football. Free kick has gone the way of Geelong. Big Rod Blake will take the kick from the centre. Comes out wide. Cole again on his own. Plays on straight away. Ignored the hand pass. Puts the ball forward, looking for Mossop. No mark taken. Swooping on the ball is Buse, and Geelong do bring up a goal as Andrew Buse puts through his first and number 5 for Geelong.
And in fact, their first for the term. It's taken some 12 minutes, while North Melbourne have gone on their merry way, kicking 4. But Buse, a much-needed goal for the Cats. They move now to 5-4, 34, trailing North Melbourne, 11-1, 67, extraordinary kicking for goal.
A little loose play from Gary Cowton there may have had a bit to do with that, as Cole on his own on a couple of occasions and driving Geelong in, and great raving by Buse.
Almost 12 minutes gone in this second term as we go back to the centre once again. Dempsey and Blake. Dempsey on the ball all day, Blake changing with Mossop. Won by North Melbourne's Dempsey. Schimmelbusch gathers a little kick that doesn't go a great distance, but Atkins scouts beautifully. Nankervis was unable to control it. Reid is there, in trouble, gives it across to Tui. Bernard's kick. Dempsey is underneath this and will take it. He's in the centre of the ground. Schimmelbusch is the target. Reid threw the football away. Lenehan dodging, ducking and weaving. Gets out of trouble. Some good shepherding work, sees him away. Well done, Dennis, as he goes up towards the half-forward flank once again. Ramsey couldn't trap it. Glendenning has done nothing wrong. Across to the magical Keith Gregg, and away he bounces with Waddell in pursuit. Does it beautifully to Abernethy at centre field. So Bruce Abernethy to put North Melbourne into attack once again. Torpedo punt. The bounce will favour Cracker at the back. Here he goes. The snap. It's a beautiful snap, and there's another one. Well, Jimmy's kicked 3. 2 of those in fact, all of those in this quarter. Tremendous football by the Cracker boys. Phil has 4, Jimmy 3, and North Melbourne a total of 12. 12-1 to 5-4 on Seven's big league.
Seven's big league is part of the Holden Premiership season.
Well, North Melbourne only marginally increased their lead for the remainder of the match. They finished up winning the game by 40 points, and they really drove Geelong crackers this afternoon. Jim Cracker 4 goals, Phil Cracker 4 goals for Geelong. Brian Peake got 4. We saw him get all of those in our replay segments, and Lenehan kicked 3 goals down at Kardinia Park this afternoon. Stats on the match from the Geelong-North Melbourne encounter. The marks in favour of North by a good 20. The kicks in favour of North Melbourne by 30. The free kicks in favour of Geelong by 5. The handballs again in favour of North Melbourne by 24. The hit-outs 38 to 29 in favour of the Cats. And shots at goal 30 to 38 in favour of North Melbourne. And they certainly did kick very straight for goals, didn't they, there this afternoon? Great forward work by the Kangaroos. Scott Palmer, in his segment earlier, mentioned an incident in this particular game involving the North Melbourne runner, Mark Dawson. Let's take a look now at that particular incident. It happened in the third term.
Mossop, Cracker couldn't control it. Kick was partly smothered. Demetriou, Cracker and Hodgman. Reid, superior speed. Cracker not liking the attention from Card. On behind the play, and down goes the runner. Well, let's have a look at this. Ray Card not at all impressed by those antics. And the game has been stopped. Both Crackers being spoken to. Where one goes, the other one does. Anyway, we're back with the game. Dempsey's in trouble. Cracker has possession now, and away he goes. He'll probably find his brother. Now that's stupid play on the part of Geelong's Jeffries. Really, don't tell me he's going to get the free kick. Well, if they're not careful, this could erupt. Bernard Tui suggesting there was some acting going on there. There could possibly have been. But Cracker is in the hands of the trainers. And they're going to have to take control of this situation very, very smartly.
Well, there it was, the incident involving North Melbourne runner Mark Dawson at Kardinia Park this afternoon. What was your decision? Let's check the